Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Now, this afternoon, Communications Minister Sam George is challenging the long-held belief that Ghana's DStv subscription costs are linked to market size. On PM Express last night, he argued that population has no bearing on pricing, pointing out that smaller markets like Liberia have paid less than Ghana, while countries with populations similar to ours, like Angola, pay around $30. Well, his comments follows a breakthrough deal between government and MultiChoice Africa that takes effect today, promising Ghanaian subscribers some 33% to 50% more value for their money, an offer he described as unmatched. Listen.
It's not an issue of just market sizes. Because if it was an issue of market sizes, the analysis you did, you should check how much Liberia is paying. Liberia has a population of 5 million people. That's the population of Accra. Before we got this intervention, Liberia was paying less than us. Angola has a similar population to Ghana, it's about 33 million people. Angola was paying in the region of about $30. So for those who make that uninformed argument that Nigeria's price is low simply because of the numbers of the population there, then they haven't followed through. They're speaking from sentiment and what they have heard people say on social media. They're not speaking from fact. Because speaking from fact will tell you that population does not necessarily play a role in the pricing model that has been done. Because if population played a role, Liberia should not be charging less than Ghana.
Yeah, so that is what I wanted to understand. In Ghana, what is the pricing model? What are they using?
Well, and that's what I've repeated, that it would be unfair for me to go into the fine details. But if you look at what you have over there, I don't see Liberia there. But if you had put Liberia in there, Liberia was charges about $53 thereabout, you know, at the moment. But if you look at Angola, Angola is about the same population as Ghana, is $24, you know. And then if you were even going to look at cost of living, Luanda and Accra. Luanda is the most expensive city in Africa. When you look at the top 10 most expensive cities on the continent. So again, cost of living in Luanda is not that cheap, okay? Yet they pay $24. So when people don't understand the subject, they either get educated on it or they keep quiet.
We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. Well, we're just telling you that the minority members on Parliament's Communication and Information Committee have fired back at Sam George over the DStv impasse, insisting his remarks are arrogant and disrespectful and pompous as well. Now, just to give you a little background, yesterday on PM Express, Sam George took aim at the minority in Parliament. In a statement signed by the minority, the ranking member on the minority, Matthew Yindam, made reference to that interview and maintained that the minority expressed diligent responsibility and oversight in their work. And that statement is coming up on your screens right now from the minority, just telling us some of the key concerns they've raised. If you just tune in, yesterday we had quite a packed conversation with the Communications Minister, Sam George, where he was just explaining some of the key modalities about the whole DStv deal and the questions that you had bug in your mind, really, as to we have value for money, as to if we have monies in our pocket, or if this is just another scheme from DStv, a promo scheme, what have not. Well, DStv, we know, has been responding today, just telling us some key modalities, and we're bringing that to you as well. But on your screen now is that statement from the minority. They're raising key concerns about that interview. They say that we've taken note of Sam George's recent interview on Joy News that happened on PM Express yesterday. Full version is on all our social media platforms and it's trending currently as we speak on Twitter, formerly Twitter, now X. Now, they go on to state where he made certain pronouncements regarding the DStv impasse in response to a press release. We would like to put on record that the minority members of the Committee of Communications and Information are not surprised by his stance, given his reputation of arrogance, disrespect, and pomposity among well-meaning Ghanaians. As minority members, we have been diligent in our committee work. The minority indeed wrote to the chairman of the committee requesting for a meeting to address the DStv impasse. It is worth noting, they state, that the chairman, a majority member, is responsible for summoning meetings and not members with concerns. It is recalled that Sam George once stated in a media encounter, quote, and that media encounter, we have that video on all our social media platforms. We'll try to bring that to you as well. He stated that I will meet the Ghana and South African team in my office, and I am clear in my mind that the meeting will not come to an end without an agreed reduction in price. I've seen the attempts by the South African management to say when you buy a package, they should upgrade you to the next one. We're grateful, but that is not what we want, unquote. The minority goes on to state that it appears that his stance have shifted. The question remains, who between him and the minority member is incompetent? They're asking that question. And so that's a statement put up by the minority, really, just taking aim at Sam George. You're wondering what is sparking all this? Let me give you context. On PM Express last night, here's the communications minister, Sam George, taking aim at the minority.
The truth is, you can't fight excellence. You may hate it, but you can't fight it.
So you believe you're being excellent?
Evans, you may not like Sam George. You may not like my manner. You may not like my approach.
You talk about humility.
But you cannot,
excellent. Let others say that about you.
You cannot question the excellence in the work that we do. You cannot question the fact that for 8 years, someone sat there and actually asked MTN to reduce the data that they were giving to Ghanaians. The ministry, under the NPP, asked MTN to increase the cost of data, reduce the value they were giving, and increase the price. Another minister in 8 months, in fact, less than 8 months, got MTN to increase the data by 260%. You can't argue with that. That a minister sat there and never even once met with content creators and said that the ministry had no business with them. And this ministry has come, we've met with them, we're working on capacity building, we're working on monetization for them. You can't question that no matter how much you like. Look, they say monkey no fine, but mama like them. And so
So they're not getting an apology?
I'd apologize for their incompetence. Because don't forget, that same minority granted a press statement saying that they were going to invite and mediate the impasse. They couldn't even call a meeting of the Parliamentary Select Committee. That's how incompetent the minority on the Parliamentary Select Committee is. They could not even call a single meeting after holding a press conference. I mean, their competence is in calling press conferences, but they are incompetent in delivering anything. They were incompetent in government, in opposition, they are also incompetent. They said they were going to mediate. They never even wrote a letter inviting the ministry. They never even met with DStv. I mean, I'll apologize to Ghanaians for the incompetence of the minority on that select committee. Today, the Parliamentary Select Committee, by the way, paid a working visit to the ministry, and they are paying working visits to all the rest. Matthew Yindam and all his members on the minority were absent from that meeting. None of them. They don't take the committee's work serious.
Maybe they just simply boycotted it.
They didn't boycott it. They don't take the meeting serious. They have never, most times at committee meetings when the ministry meets with them, and if they want us to really call them out, we will.
Meanwhile, there's growing confusion over government's announced deal with MultiChoice. While the communications minister, Sam George, says the agreement is permanent and reduces subscription and costs permanently, DStv says it is only a promotional offer running until December. We'll hear from DStv shortly, but first, here's the minister speaking about the deal last night on PM Express.
MultiChoice Africa has committed to implement an unprecedented increased value offer only in Ghana, and I repeat, only in Ghana. which will result in Ghanaian DStv subscribers getting more services for less. Depending on the DStv package or bouquet you use, subscribers will get between 33% to 50% more value. The new arrangement, effective from 1st October 2025, are as follows. For those who are on the Paddy Bouquet subscription, you currently pay 59 Ghana cedis. When you pay 59 Ghana cedis, you get upgraded automatically to Access, which is valued at 99 Ghana cedis, and you get 35 more channels. The committee will reconvene in 3 months to evaluate the impact of this initiative.
I'd like to apologize. We'll bring you excerpts of that interview yesterday on PM Express, where Sam George said emphatically that this is a permanent deal, but that we're just hearing from DStv today clarify in a press release that the offer they're giving us is temporal. That's coming up on your screen right now, just giving you a breakdown of some of the key things they're raising in that statement. It's quite a lengthy one, but we've just been able to tease out some of the key things from that statement. Now, the heading of that statement is quite interesting. It's dubbed, "We've Got You Promotion." And this promotion, they tell us in that statement, runs from the 1st of October to the 31st of December 2025. According to DStv, customers get upgraded one package higher than what they've paid for, which the communications minister told us. They go on to state that this is happening at no extra cost. And then they tell you the eligibility criteria. And they tell us that it applies to new, returning, and active customers. They go on to state that if a customer upgrades their package during the campaign period, noting, which is 1st of October, starting today, to December, they state that during the campaign period, they will be upgraded to the next highest package from the one they have paid for. They're going to state it is advisable that a customer either stays on their current package or upgrade to a higher package to take up the offer. Keywords there: advisable, stay, current, upgrade. Now, if the customer does not pay enough to be active on their current package, they will not have access to the higher package. Now, these are the eligible packages. Now, if you're on to DStv and you're a subscriber, you know that there are different levels of subscription. Paddy is the lowest level, and it follows Access, Family, Compact, Compact Plus, and Premium. So these are the eligible packages, and they tell you that it's from Paddy to Compact Plus. Now, the individuals are not eligible for this promotion they're running. They tell us premium customers, business customers, stream customers, employees, or specialized accounts, customers on standalone packages. Well, just like I told you, the contradiction deepened on PM Express, where the minister again stressed that the deal is not a promotion. He maintained that Ghanaians would only benefit if they downgrade or stay on their current packages. Let's listen.
The point I was making, that the owner of this account was paying 380 Ghana cedis to DStv. DStv is saying to the person, pay us 190 cedis more and go to Compact Plus, which is supposed to now make you pay 570, and we will give you the premium. What we announced yesterday is that that person who is a Compact user, if that person wants to watch Compact Plus today, all they need to do is still pay 380. They don't need to pay the extra 190. If they want to remain a compact user, they can drop to family and pay 190 instead of the 380. How is this confusing for anybody who wants to be open-minded and fair-minded? The facts are there. This is different from what is being done. And I'm putting it to you that no matter how anybody wishes to spin it, nothing of this nature, of what we have announced, has ever been done by DStv in their 30-year history. Yesterday, the group CEO from South Africa, or came from the headquarters in Dubai, was in the room. The head of governance was there. The chairman of MultiChoice Ghana was there. The MD of MultiChoice was there. They heard me say it, that this is unprecedented in the history of MultiChoice. The media asked them if everything I said was true, because MultiChoice has never offered a bouquet package where you can still get the same value when you pay less. What they've always offered is that you pay more and then they match you. So from the table to the messages you've shown, it just shows that if you were a Compact Plus customer paying 570 at that time, there was nothing for you. If you were a premium customer paying 865 at that time, nothing for you. Under what I have announced, if you are a premium customer like I am, tomorrow I can pay 570 and still watch my premium content. I don't need to pay more to DStv. I'm paying less, 295.
So you pay, you stay.
If you are a Compact Plus customer like you, 570. Tomorrow, if you want to watch your Compact Plus, you save 190 Ghana cedi tomorrow by paying 380 and still watching your Compact Plus.
Well,
this cannot be said to be the same.
We'll be exploring that here on the Pulse this afternoon. We will be communicating with the ranking member on the Information and Communications Committee of Parliament, Matthew Yindam. We also have something happening currently for you. DStv has released an official statement, and we're putting that up for you shortly. They say it's a clarification statement. What clarity are they bringing on board? We're bringing that to you shortly. The minority, they have been responding to that interview that happened on PM Express yesterday. We just heard from the Communications Minister, Sam Nate George, just take on the minority. They made some key recommendations and also held a press conference telling us that they'll be engaging DStv on the impasse, as well as the Communications Minister. Sam George took aim at them just last night on PM Express that they failed to do same. They failed to even call that meeting. And coming up on your screens right now is that statement put out by MultiChoice, just providing some clarity. And this is coming up because of the whole back and forth. Just yesterday, we heard from Sam George tell us that this deal is permanent. But we're hearing from DStv in a statement they put out earlier, just before this one, clarify that it's a promotion they're running between the 1st of October to December. So now, they've put out an official statement, and that's what you're seeing on your screen, seeking to clarify the value offer. So let's go through it. They state that following the recent joint press conference with the Ministry of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations, the National Communications Authority, MultiChoice Africa, MultiChoice Ghana, we wish to clarify that the FAQs published on our website, which created an erroneous impression of a contradiction regarding the DStv value offering, which is effective today, October 1, 2025. And they go on to state that we would like to clarify as follows. One, we fully support the joint media statement that was issued by the Minister, Sam George, and the implementation of same has already commenced. As contained in the said joint media statement regarding the value offering, the committee will reconvene in 3 months to evaluate the impact of this initiative. This will be a periodic exercise, they tell us. There is no restriction on a subscriber choice of bouquet. This offer is available to both existing, returning, and new customer from the 1st of October. We apologize for any inconvenience the FAQs may have caused. But key thing you must note here, that they provide clarity that the committee will reconvene in 3 months to evaluate the impact of this initiative. The same 3 months in which, according to the FAQs, which is in circulation, that the multi-choice Ghana was just telling us that the offer ends. So, really, is this Sam Nate's George's intervention, or it's simply multi-choice playing games with us? We'll get into that and get into their minds this afternoon here on The Pulse. We're working the lines to get the PR executive for multi-choice Ghana. But let me bring in right now, join us via Zoom, the ranking member on the Information and Communications Committee of Parliament, Matthew Yindam. Thank you so much for your time here on The Pulse. We've seen your statement. You describe the minister as arrogant and pompous, but he raises key concerns, really. You promised that you would be mediating the impasse between multi-choice Ghana and the Communications Ministry, and then you failed to actually do same. That's according to Sam George. How do you respond to that, really?
Hello.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Very grateful. Let me say good evening to your viewers, and then let me put on record that the minister should know that the office he's holding it in trust, and it is not his bona fide property. And the best he can do as a young man is to bring down his ego. He should not run down everybody thinking he's the only wise man in this country. I listened to him for his insults and all those kind of raising shoulders and his pomposity and describing whoever he meets, whatever way he wants to describe. I wouldn't even want to go there. But some should know that we are all members of parliament and we have equal responsibility to protect the public, to make sure at the end of the day we give Ghanaians the best. Now, to the question you've asked. The saga came up, he brought it up and promised Ghanaians that he was coming down with a price reduction, 30% or more. The impasse continued. I personally wrote a letter to my chairman of the committee, and I'll be very fair to the chairman. The chairman wrote to me, wrote back to the ministry, and decided to summon a meeting for all of us to meet, because the kind of leadership Sam was providing was nothing to write home about. But unfortunately, and let me, like I said, I should admit and let chairman know that what happened was that it was the day the unfortunate incident happened where we lost some of our ministers and some people in this country to the helicopter crashed. So there was nothing all of us could do. When we were preparing to meet, Sam himself was out of this country. And we were told that he has instituted a committee, and the committee were now going to negotiate between the ministry and then DStv, and he was going to chair it on his own. So for him to come there and say that we couldn't even call for a meeting, it's just a lie. In any case, we are in the minority. We do not have powers to summon meeting. It is the chairman of the committee who is the majority, from the majority side, that summons meetings.
Did you
speak
directly to the chairman, indicating your interest to have the communications minister appear before the committee? Did you do that?
Come again.
Did you speak to the chairman of the committee, since you admit you do not have the powers to summon Sam George before the committee? Did you make your stance known to the chairman of the committee so that he can trigger that summons for Sam George to appear before the committee?
That's exactly what I said. We actually fixed a date. We're going to meet Sam George, we're going to meet DStv and all parties involved. But unfortunately, for us, that was when the tragic incident happened, where we lost some of our ministers. So there was nothing that we could do at that time. That was the period. So for him to come and sit down there and say that we're incompetent and we couldn't even organize a meeting is a lie. Let me put that on record. 2, as to whether we visited DStv as a minority or not, it is not up to him, Sam George, to tell. But the issues are that...
Did you visit DStv?
Yes, we did. We visited DStv.
And what was the
We
outcome of
visited
that
DStv.
engagement?
You see, the engagement, that's why I'm telling you that Sam actually put up a committee. And according to him, the committee was supposed to negotiate between or mediate between the ministry and DStv. So we didn't want to actually rock any boat. We just thought that fine, since the committee was working, let's allow the committee to come out with whatever they are coming out with. And when they came out, Sam now held a press conference. And at the back of that press conference, we pointed out to Sam that, look, you have failed Ghanaians because you've told all of us that you were not going for anything apart from price cuts. And you were looking at 30%. So if you couldn't meet that, the best for you to do is to apologize to Ghanaians. Yes, this is my fight, but unfortunately, I couldn't. And I'm coming out with this package. And this package that he's talking about, if you listen to him, the initial press conferences that he held, he made it clear to DStv that he was not accepting any repackaging. Whatever he wanted was to get the price cuts. So I'm surprised today he is now he's playing the PR role for DStv and priding himself that he's done something better. That is not what Sam told us. And it is only in this country that somebody like Sam, who is a young man, I will not disrespect him, but the kind of ego he carries, the kind of carry himself and thinking that he's a thing God, that will not help him. It is up to him to sit down and reflect. If you are wrong, you are wrong. Sam is not above criticism. For him to sit on television and insult the minority, insult whoever he wants to insult, is something that he himself should bow down his head in shame. Because
but then you appear to be okay with the insults, really, because in your statement, you state clearly that you do not wish that he apologize nor retract.
Yes, because it is so expensive that Sam do not have it. You see, for we to let Sam know that we don't need his apology or we are not requesting for his apology, tells you that he's gone beyond repairs. You can only repair or talk to somebody who will sit down, reflect, and accept that, look, I am human, I can err. So if I err, I should apologize. But for you to all the time insult presidents, insult chiefs, insult whoever comes your way and thinking that you are superior and nobody else, we don't think that we need an apology from him because he cannot offer. He cannot offer because it is too expensive for him to offer. So we think that he's gone beyond repairs. And it is in this country that Sam will become a minister. Any other place, if you speak this way, I'm not sure the office you are holding, your president will allow you to sit in that office any longer.
So is the minority pushing for his removal? Is that what you're asking for? Is the minority pushing for the communications minister removal?
Yeah, we think that his communication, his actions, his this do not reflect the presidency. It is un-Ghanaian on his part. It is un-Ghanaian. It doesn't show maturity. So if he wants to keep his position, then he should rethink again. Other than that, we think that his attitude and his actions and all whatever he says, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama should look at him again because he's actually disgracing his communication ministry. Since Sam started his ministry, he has never produced any results. Let me tell you, Sam has never produced any results. Go back to the days when we were talking about price in data. Sam promised us that he was going to make sure that data becomes cheaper. What did he come up with? He came under the cover that he's come up with repackaging and enhancing. It's only God who knows what he meant by repackaging and re-enhancing. Today, you've promised Ghanaians that you are coming out, and we must all be prepared. You are coming out with a price cut, only to come under another repackaging, thinking that you are deceiving somebody. The DStv themselves have come out to clarify one or two things. And whom do we believe? You think we should believe Sam or we should believe DStv? These are things that all of us as Ghanaians must tell Sam to know that, look, he is misleading us. He is not being sincere to us. He should be humble enough as a young man. If you are wrong, let the people know you are wrong.
Will you petition the president for his removal? Is the minority
Well,
going to
we are
take that
looking
move?
at several options. We are looking at several options because we are not going to leave this fight just like that. Look, he actually authorized NCA to impose tax fine on a DStv, daily fine of 10,000 Ghana cedis, mid of August, that he issued that statement. I will be very much interested for you to ask Sam whether they comply with the fine or they haven't. And if they have complied, how much money have we made as a nation? You should be asking Sam and be asking him that why the U-turn? What has necessitated him from moving from price cuts to enhanced package? You should be asking Sam some of these questions. So can we say that maybe he's going to take some money from DStv and decided to be singing their praises today?
These allegations we can't prove, Mr. Matthew, but then he raises some key concerns.
I'm just looking at his actions. His actions suggest to me, because he's made us to believe that he is not even accepting any enhanced package from day one. And for that matter, he needs a 30% cut. Why is he not talking about the 30% cut? Why is he not telling us the reason why it is not possible for the 30% cut? But he has decided to make a U-turn. So I can legitimately ask him, why has he taken some money from DStv and decided to join them to sing their chorus?
Well, Sam George in his defense actually broke it down last night on PM Express, telling us that this new deal gives us a 33 to 50% cut in the existing deal we had. But he raises another salient point just yesterday on PM Express, that just yesterday he says that the Parliamentary Select Committee on Communications came to his office, and then the minority was conspicuously missing from that meeting. Is there a reason why you failed to show up?
Yes. In the first place, currently as I speak to you, I am briefed, so I am in my constituency. My deputy ranking was supposed to be with them yesterday, but unfortunately, he got an emergency and left to his constituency. In any case, we are just about 5 members on that committee. OPK has not been well, and he's gone for medical treatment outside the country. Same Kabiru has not also been well. So we were just about 2 or 3 people who are available. And unfortunately, I have to come to the constituency to take care of a funeral. So if we were not there yesterday...
We have decided to come up with the IBI version 1, which is the Intelligent Babies Incubator. We have noticed that across Ghana, a lot of babies die who are premature due to the fact that there are lack of incubators in our hospitals.
Country, and the committee should hold on until he comes. So we have to postpone the working visit until he came. But he never told you people that was the reason why some of us were not around. So that is not enough for him to say that we are not taking the committee work seriously. Ever since we started parliamentary proceedings, myself and my side has always been at committee meetings, and we've been performing our legitimate responsibility as minority. So he should look at the issues and then see how he can fix these problems instead of looking at the minority side and begin to hide under us and think that he's going to get any credit for that. He wouldn't get any credit. He should give us price cuts. He should tell us. He should answer the legitimate questions. And when he does that, I think that the people of this country will see who is performing and who is not performing, who is competent and who is incompetent. If you are asking us to brace ourselves up, you're going to give us some relief, and you come and you are not able to give us relief, you are looking for somebody to blame. That is unfortunate.
When will you send this petition to President John Dramani Mahama?
Like I said, currently I am in the constituency. My other colleague has joined them for the working visit. The leadership of Parliament is there. We will continue to engage with them, and then all processes that we have to go through, we will go through. And the media must also know that you are also supposed to hold each and everybody accountable. Hold Sam George accountable. Don't let him go.
Mr. Matuinda, when exactly are you going to put the petition? You say you go through the process, we concede, but give us timelines. When are we expecting that petition to reach the decks of President John Dramani Mahama?
Like I said, I am currently in the constituency. I should be in Accra by Friday.
Okay.
We have leaders in parliament. We're going to engage. It's not just our committee alone. It is about the minority in parliament. So I will not be able to give you timelines because I don't want to be like Sam George. I don't want to give you this, give you issues, raise your hopes that I will not be able to meet. I won't do that.
Thank you so much for your time here on The Pulse. Machi Indam, he is ranking member on the Information and Communications Committee in Parliament. If you just tuned in, the minority taking aim at the Communications Minister, Sam George. They're telling us that indeed they're going to petition the presidency for his removal. They're yet to give us a timeline on that, but we're monitoring the story closely. We also brought you updates that MultiChoice have released a statement seeking to clarify the FAQs they put out earlier. And all that will be coming up. We'll be fleshing it out in subsequent bulletins. In fact, we also know that some key members among us have, taken the pain to renew their subscription just so that we can give you a breakdown of what it is, this new value-added season we're experiencing with this new deal between MultiChoice Ghana and the assurances given to us by the Communications Ministry. We'll just go through the dynamics so that you're on the same page with us. And so that's why you need to stick and stay with us here on the Joy News channel. But still on Sam George last night on PM Express, he has challenged some key things when it comes to his government and its pace in tackling illegal mining crisis. He insists that President John Dramani Mahama could have done more in the 9 months of his administration. He spoke on PM Express with Evans Mensah, and he maintained his stance on the post he made on a year ago, in which he claimed that the then President Akufo-Addo had the power to end Galamsey if he truly wanted to. He emphasized that while the Mahama administration is committed to fighting Galamsey, enforcement of regulations against the menace could have been faster, which is necessary to curb the environmental terrorism.
Has been president for 9 months now. Do I wish I have seen more? Absolutely. I wish it's ended today. But in the 9 months, I can confidently say that I see a desire and a will to deal with Galamsey that didn't exist in the previous 8 years. I see a president who has asked the security services to investigate 2 of his own national executives on allegation of being involved in Galamsey. Meanwhile, under the previous president, you had a regional chairman talking to a minister saying that they must engage in Galamsey because party hiasika. And the president went to campaign for that individual in their party elections.
You said that, would you have wanted for us to do more? Speaking to the president, you said absolutely yes. What more would you have wanted him to do?
A lot more in terms of enforcement. We could move a bit faster. I believe that there could be a lot more. And again, I see the work, I see the briefs in cabinet that the Minister for Lands and Natural Resource brings, the joint briefs between himself and other sectoral ministers working towards this. In fact, it was one of such initiatives that led to the unfortunate incident of August 6th that had the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Defense, and the Ministry of Interior going to work with him to fight Galamsey. So I have seen it. And I know what's going on. I'm just saying that we don't need to rest on our oars.
Meanwhile, the Central Regional Minister, Ekopein Otri, has revealed the fight against illegal mining is beginning to yield tangible results, citing visible improvements in water bodies following recent rainfall. He told the media during a presentation of reservoir tanks to 5 districts hardest hit by water shortages.
Excellency President John Mahama, the President of the Republic of Ghana is intentional about the fight against Galamsey, for which reason I can tell you that those who are creating that mess at Enum Apepem which is why we are here, being flushed off the area. When the last rains came, we saw that the water is changing. We believe that we're going to sustain that activity to ensure that not only here, but other parts of the country will be safe from those who are destroying our water bodies.
Now, in a yet-to-be documentary by Joy News titled Dear Mahama, Stop Galamsey on the illegal mining impact, we have a teaser for you. And this is just something you should look forward to. Watch.
I've been reluctant to implement a state of emergency in the Galamsey fight.
Central region,
We've not exhausted the powers we even have.
Dear Mahama, while you hesitate,
pure water, 4, no they
using this water when I'm menstruating is a bit difficult for me.
It's going to be an outbreak of cholera. It has even started.
water treatment plants collapsing under heavy silt.
We must ban it. So we all drink. We all drink.
When Ghanaians have voted for me, I will take that responsibility.
Dear Mahama, the time has come to take responsibility.
Mr. President. Mr. President. Mr. President.
Mr. President.
So, Mr. President.
President John Dramani Mahama.
Put a stop to illegal mining.
Dear Mahama, Stop Galamsey, a Joy News series coming soon.
Well, expect that feature rolling out here on the Joy News channel. My name is Faustina Safa. You're still watching The Pulse. We'll be back after this quick turn. We'll tell you about the key updates in the judiciary after this break. Please stay tuned in. Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. To other stories now, the Acting Chief Justice, Paul Bafabani, has urged magistrates and judges to prioritize the prosecution of individuals involved in illegal mining known as Galamsey, regardless of their political affiliations and status. Justice Bafabani expressed concerns about the detrimental effects of illegal mining on the country and emphasized the need for magistrates and judges to be very quick in their discharge of duties and impartially adjudicate cases when sufficient evidence is presented. Speaking at the 2025 Annual General Meeting of the Association of Magistrates and Judges of Ghana, Justice Bafabani called for a concerted effort to combat the issue.
Church mandate and responsibility in relation to Galamsey, environmental degradation and drug abuse. As members of the Judiciary, we are not policy makers, and we do not wield the enforcement powers of the executive. Yet our constitutional role is neither passive nor peripheral. We are the guardians of justice, custodians of the law, and interpreters of the nation's conscience. So our responsibilities in confronting these challenges include upholding the law. We must ensure that prosecutions related to illegal mining and drug trafficking and abuse are handled with seriousness, impartiality, and urgency. And I mean urgency. Where there is evidence, the law must be applied without fear or favor. No person, and I mean no person, regardless of their political affiliation or social status, should be immune from justice. Consistency in sentencing. There is a growing public perception that sentences for environmental crimes and drug offenses are either too lenient or inconsistently applied. We must work towards harmonizing sentencing practices.
On the issue of drug abuse, this was his advice to the judges and magistrates. Listen.
The next subject I want to mention is drug abuse in Ghana. particularly among young people. A research I recently stumbled upon made grim reading and got me particularly alarmed. The results of the research concluded that there is a relatively high substance use among adolescents with a prevalence of 12.3%. It further revealed that 56.9% of the adolescents in Ghana abuse alcohol, while 26.4% abuse cigarettes. The two are the most common substances abuse. Apart from alcohol and cigarettes, the results also concluded that 6.5% abuse tramadol, while 4.8% abuse marijuana.
Away from that, campaigners against anti-corruption have intensified demands for specialized courts and tailored resource judges to trial cases of corruption and mismanagement of public resources. Previous efforts, including the 2015 to 2024 National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, failed to achieve results as agencies working in silos with slim resources. The launch of the 2026-2030 National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Action Plan is set to take a sharper turn with a more punitive approach on resources. Chair of the African Union Advisory Board Against Corruption, Edem Senanu, insists the public must begin to see decisive results on corruption and cases regarding corruption within the next 6 months if specialized courts are instituted.
A regional stakeholder engagement on the formulation of the National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Action Plan highlights a new plan mandating close collaboration and seamless transfer of cases among anti-corruption institutions, calls for specialized approach to corruption fight with specialized anti-corruption courts, high institutional resources and trained with technical expertise for judges was the peak of discussion. Chair of the African Union Advisory Board Against Corruption, Edem Senanu, insists the public must begin to see decisive results on corruption cases within 6 months if specialized courts are instituted.
The fact that anti-corruption is specialized and things like, unexplained wealth, reverse burden, which you find in other jurisdictions, where if you are living lavishly, they can call you to an office and say, explain how you got this money. In Ghana, we don't have a law covering that, so people can do what they want, which means that money that is criminally sourced can come into Ghana and be used freely without anybody arresting such persons. So there's some legal changes that have to be done in terms of unexplained wealth, reverse burden, and also we think we need specialized anti-corruption courts so that the cases can go faster and to set a stronger precedent against corruption in the country.
The National Anti-Corruption Action Plan concluded its implementation cycle in 2024. The continuity of the effort has influenced the setup of a task force to develop a new anti-corruption framework for the next 5 years. The engagement constituted a working group including representatives from government institutions, civil society organizations, the judiciary, and subject matter experts. Ashanti Regional Director of the National Commission for Civic Education, Paul Ba, decried the whistleblowing infractions hampering corruption fight.
One of the ways that we can really, fight against corruption is people coming forward with information, but I can tell you that, if people will feel comfortable coming out with information that will help us to solve this corruption problem, then there's a need for a robust protection for such people.
For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
Let's shift our attention now to the health sector. The World Health Organization is indicating that late-stage diagnosis and weak and inadequate infrastructure have led to breast cancer mortality in Africa to be the highest in the world. This comes despite Africa recording the lowest incidence of breast cancer cases. According to data from the World Health Organization, 49% of breast cancer cases result in death. In Ghana, the situation is alarming. Out of more than 5,000 cases recorded annually, nearly half, 2,300 women die. With only 6 cancer treatment centers nationwide, access to care remains a challenge for thousands of women, especially those who cannot afford private treatment. Well, we've just been doing a breakdown of our cases globally and just breaking it down to what we have here in Ghana. And that is on your screens right now. The global figure is 2.3 million cases annually and 660,000 deaths, which is roughly 28.69% of the actual number. Now, when you break down the figure coming into Africa, we have 146,000 cases annually, and then we have 71.6 thousand deaths. That's 49.03%. And what is informing this, really? We've just been breaking down the data, and we see that one of the key concerns by the World Health Organization is late detection and diagnosis, as well as weak health infrastructure. In Ghana, we told you the mortality rate, 47% of individuals who actually report to the hospital and have been diagnosed with breast cancer actually die. And we're just doing a breakdown annually, just to give you a picture. In 2022, 5,026 cases. Alarmingly, 2,369 individuals died. And this is the top 5 cancer, top 5 diseases in Ghana annually, and at the top of the food chain there you can see painted red, breast cancer, 5,025, where individuals with liver problems follow closely with over 3,000 there. And then we have prostate and NHL as well following closely. So that's the chart, just painting a picture of how alarming the situation is. And in Ghana, the top 5 diseases, cancer happens to be leading. Away from that, the Ministry of Gender has announced plans to train more geriatric specialists to better support Ghana's growing aging population. The disclosure was made by the Director of Aging, Daniel Fauto, who expressed and represented the Ministry of Gender at an event in Accra to mark this year's World Aging Day. The program dedicated to the elderly highlighted the government's commitment to improving care and social protection for senior citizens. Carlos Coloni has the rest of the story.
This year's World Aging Day brought together hundreds of older adults together in Accra under the theme Improving Healthcare and Well-being for the Elderly. The event, hosted by Global Healthcare for the Elderly, combined fun and fitness through aerobics, games, and fresh coconut with serious conversations about life after work. Many retirees shared concerns about isolation and inadequate pensions, urging government to review tax policies on pension contributions to provide stronger support for retirement.
Basically, it has to do with it is isolation and then the poor remuneration. Well, we say that it is what you put in that you take. Have you look at it? While you are in employment, you realize that workers pay more tax, twice more than they pay for net. It is not our doing. It is the government. So if the government will reverse it for us to pay more into the state fund than what we pay for tax, I think to go at the end of the day, it will kneel to the benefit of the retiree.
One of the things I personally think, and I've talked to some TUC people, is that we must make sure that our salaries are, how should I put it, are consolidated with our allowances, so that our salaries become big. Because the bigger your salary, the better your social security after you retire. I've known people who have had exceptional allowances with small salaries. Whilst they were working, they were quite happy. Suddenly they go on retirement, the allowances cease, and then the amount by which states should pay them is so negligible.
The Executive Director of Comic Relief Healthcare, Dr. Edward Danso, warned that a shortage of geriatric specialists continues to limit quality elderly care in the country.
I think we professional geriatrics we lack them. There are not too many of them, especially at the specialized level. If you go to our hospital, there are not too many. You won't even find too many hospitals that have departments that are specialists in there. So we know that taking care of the aging is something doctors must have compassion for aging to go into that branch, and this is something that we urge. We are training so many doctors now in Ghana, and some of them should look at that area.
In response, Daniel Fiawotro of the Gender Ministry revealed the government is partnering with the Health Ministry to train more specialists to close the gap.
So we realize that the number of trained geriatrics in the country are few, and looking at the number of older persons that are emerging, there's a need for us to train more geriatric care, specialists to be able to take care of older persons. Yeah, so that's what we are going to collaborate with the Ghana Health Service in the training of geriatric specialists.
The Deputy Director of Social Welfare, Victoria Bishop, also urged the working class to start preparing now for life after retirement.
I would say that families, individuals, and our communities should take up responsibilities to cater for their aging parents. It's very important whilst we work, we put in place plans that will take care of our future. So everybody should try to do something profitable, something sustainable, that when you are out of your work on retirement, then you can actually depend on it.
As the clock ticks, retirement is never as far as it seems. The message is clear. Plan and invest today for a secure tomorrow. Carlos Caloni, Joy News, Accra.
Still on health, the Ghana Health Service is dispelling claims that the HPV vaccine set to be administered nationwide in the coming days would encourage promiscuity among young girls. Beginning October 7, the nationwide immunization campaign will target all girls aged 9 to 14 against cervical cancer. Cervical cancer is caused by HPV virus. While there is no cure for the virus itself, treatment exists for health complications it causes, and it makes the vaccine strongly recommended by experts for individuals who haven't taken it yet. Speaking at the workshop for journalists ahead of the rollout, Dr. Selom, the API manager at the Ghana Health Service, assured that the public and everyone who takes the vaccine will be safe. Let's listen.
Gotten to the point where we are ready to deploy. We've got the vaccines in country, but the mixed vaccines, the last I checked on Sunday, was in all the various regional cold rooms. And now we are going to, this week I know it's going to go down all the way to the facility. After the 7th, it becomes part of our routine. So after we finish the campaign on Saturday, if you walk into our weighing centers, you come, you have your age, we check your age. Once you are within the age group, we immunize you and we give you a card. We're doing 3 doses. Then the recommendation came to 2 doses. And now with so many 19 years of use, we found out 1 dose is enough. So it's possible that in the future, some research is being done to see if we can do it in a lower group. But for now, it's 9 years. And let me tackle the issue of the insecurity. For the Ghana Health Service, if a place is insecure, we don't ask the staff to go and do immunization at all. So you realize the places that have insecurity now, they have challenges with their immunization because things get disrupted. Then we move into if there are refugee camps, we go and do the immunization there. But if people are fighting somewhere, we don't encourage them to go and put themselves at risk. So even if the place was insecure, we couldn't do the campaign there, subsequently the children will still be covered. Remember I said we are still catching up for a period of time. So 9 to 14 years, you can still take the vaccine till you hit 14. So definitely we'll be able to get them. If they are not there in the community and they move out to a different place too, we can get them. And then to add on to the point about the vaccine, the time of the vaccine is going to be, when you take it once, it's a lifelong protection. So if you take it at 9 years, you are good to go for life. Obviously, you are supposed to also do the screening, because as I said, most of the cancers are caused by the high-risk HPV 16 and 18. But you may have other risk factors that may also lead you to get cervical cancer, which is not caused by the virus. So those ones will also help make sure that you have to go and do the screening. So there are, when you are 35 or 45, you should try and get the screening done. And then the final thing about the making girls, in quotes, promiscuous. I think this is an argument that has been said about everything to do with adolescent girls. When we had to do gifts program too, it was the same thing that was said. Everything that has to do with adolescents is said to help or promote promiscuity. I don't think that is what this is about. The reality on the ground is that whether you give the girls HPV vaccine or not, those who are having sex are having sex. That's the reality. Whether you give the girls family planning devices or not, those who have the sex will have sex. But this is just to ensure that just in case, whatever time they decide to have sex, they will not have HPV and thus develop cervical cancer. That is why. So this vaccine is not coming to promote promiscuity in girls. Contrary, quite to the contrary. Because beyond sex, there are a few other ways you can still get cervical cancer without having sexual intercourse.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has pledged both technical and logistical support to Ghana for the mass vaccination exercise. WHO country representative Dr. Fiona Brakka told the media that vaccination is only one element of a broader strategy to combat HPV.
Once the vaccine is introduced next week as a campaign, in a campaign blanket approach, the vaccine will then be part of the routine vaccination schedule for girls at 9 years of age. It's important that once it has been introduced, that we monitor the coverage to ensure that indeed we reached our target. We monitor for any adverse events, see how to tackle those. We monitor also and assess the impact down the road, which will take some years, but to ensure that the products, the vaccine we've introduced has actually had some impact on the burden here. But those are long-term kind of evaluations. So WHO supports that post-introduction phase in terms of monitoring and assessing the way the rollout has gone. And once it's in the routine program, just like we support the normal program here, we as WHO do provide that technical support to ensure that the standards and the guidelines continue to be followed for use of these products. We know that we have a turnover of health workers, so we also continue to support capacity building, both for frontline workers, for mid-level managers, just to make sure that the routine vaccines are actually used appropriately. And finally, I think, as mentioned, the vaccination is just a component of the overall elimination strategy. So we also will need to continue to support the other components of the cervical cancer elimination strategy, which is the screening, making sure we scale up screening facilities, and then also making sure that we have the necessary early treatment available, that those tools are also scaled up. As WHO, we do support the whole approach in its comprehensive or its entirety to really ensure that we can reach elimination by 2030. So there's a lot that still will continue post-introduction, which we as WHO will continue to support the government.
Away from that, the Temine-Pakadan train came to an abrupt halt just meters from the station after its emergency brake was triggered. The Ghana Railway Authority Development Authority CEO, Dr. Frederick Appor, says investigations are still trying to determine which brake was pressed, even though technicians have confirmed the train remains fully operational. Stranded passengers told Adum News, our sister station, that they were trapped inside for nearly 45 minutes.
Fine.
time I train in China, do me no. Na YouTube now.
Na YouTube, my YouTube. The John Sunday one, the next one bomb.
Has not been a new thing. The things same thing happened before. They now inspection by the same thing happened, but it wasn't too much like this. And also Gina no months. That was last July, August. Last year. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Railway CEO, like we told you, Dr. Frederick Apol, reports the train stopped after emergency brake was pulled, bringing the train to a halt. The train is currently locked with passengers trapped inside due to the heat. And you just heard our Adum correspondent there just engaging some of the passengers. We'll give you updates in subsequent bulletins. But away from that, the Member of Parliament for Ilo Krobo and the acting chairman of the Energy Committee, Albert Yakote, is advocating for maximum government support for Bui Power Authority to enable it to boost its renewable energy expansion efforts. During a visit to the Bui generation station, he explained that increased support will help the authority become a leader in solar energy expertise and training for other interested institutions. Precious Semable reports.
Parliament Committee on Energy's visit to Bui Power Authority BPA was to appreciate their operations and challenges and how the committee could help. The committee toured the 404 megawatt hydro generation station, the 100 megawatt solar farm, and the 5 megawatt floating solar on the dam's reservoir, with ongoing expansion works at the Bui enclave. Samuel Nimaku-Boateng, acting deputy CEO of BPA, noted plans to expand the sustainable energy mix, but requires assistance to affirm their renewable energy status.
By the end of the next year, we want to have 250 megawatts operational in the enclave. On top of that, we want to also develop about 7 strategic sites in the northern part where the soil irradiation is very high. ECD indebtedness to us, the government is able to give us majority of the 840 million that ECD owes us. We can use that money to develop all these solar projects in the north.
Albert Nyakote, MP for Ilo Krobo and acting chairman of the committee, commended BPA for its stance against illegal mining in the dam's catchment area.
We have a mandate and a commitment to support government to achieve 10% renewable energy mix by 2030. And from what we have seen today, that will definitely be achieved. They've done a great job, and I think that what we are going to do is to recommend that any support that be required in the energy sector should be given to Bui to up its game in the solar energy system.
Banda MP and committee member Ahmed Ibrahim called on BPA to partner with academia to harness natural resources.
Bui Power must have some collaboration with University for Energy and Natural Resources, so that we'll be able to harness our hydro and resource, harness our mountainous resource, harness our forest resource, and harness our solar sun resource. So we should not allow Bui Power Authority to be neutralized.
A deputy ranking member of the committee, Collins Adomako Mensah, expressed concerns with BPA's outstanding land compensations at Banda. Unlike
for about 20 years, we've not been able to resolve boundary issues. So I've indicated to them that I'm going to report back to the chairman that I want to see a budget line dedicated for the payment of compensation for the people of Banda.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Bui.
Away from that, the Northern Zone champions, the Boka Technical Institute, are aiming to win the 2025 National Energy Commission Senior High School's Renewable Energy Challenge. Their winning project, a fully functional solar power incubator with multiple applications, has secured their place in the grand finale. The achievement adds to the school's recent successes, having topped the region and made notable national appearances over the past 2 years. Northern Regional Correspondent Martina Bugri reports.
We have decided to come up with the IBI version 1, which is the Intelligent Babies Incubator. We have noticed that across Ghana, a lot of babies die who are premature due to the fact that there are lack of incubators in our hospitals.
Here is the Double Power Technical Institute, where students are working tirelessly to perfect their innovative solar-powered incubator project. This project won them the first spot for the grand finale to be held in Accra. The school has become a technology hub where students have produced various machines and electronic products such as an electronic bike, a car, solar panels, electric bikes, among other innovations. The school, which joined the Energy Challenge starting from the 4th position for the first time, have gradually become the champions in 2 roles. Alhassan Tuferu is the lead coach.
This is a system that uses sunlight as a source of energy for cooking. So this also won us 3rd position regional. We couldn't qualify the regional by then too. So from there we moved to the automatic egg incubator, which we saw that our farmers were having challenges to hatch their eggs. So we decided to come up with this project, and this was the one that won a 2nd position. That was in the 4th edition.
The Energy Commission Senior High School Renewable Challenge aims to promote innovation in clean and sustainable energy solutions. Zachariah Joshua Wumbi walks us through the production of the solar incubator.
The whole thing took about 3 months for it to be completed. So the system is designed to mimic that of the mother's womb. So the first thing we actually did was design the heating compartment of it, because that is the sole area of the project. Because without the heating compartment and everything, the whole project is useless, as the project cannot provide the suitable environment. So after it, we went on to design our acrylic or our glass units, which serve as a transparent unit and also serves as a sterile environment for the baby. So when you also look at it, furthermore, we went on to design the smart bin. So the smart bin is what the health professional find is very necessary in most incubators. But due to the nature of our foreign manufacturers, they don't have that in mind. But we sorted out that after the baby is taken care of, the items used to take care of the baby should be sterilized instead of the doctor moving anywhere else. So it comprises of UV lights and a smart dustbin. So anytime you get close to the dustbin, it's able to open and you drop the bin inside.
The challenge has increased the interest of the students in science and technology. Taya Beatrice Nijamana tells us about how this has motivated her.
Due to this competition, we have been exposed to several institutions. I, for instance, I was exposed to traveling to Japan to participate in Sakura Science Exchange Program, where I met international students, interacted with them, and they also sent us to most of their industries.
The principal of the school, Mariam Masanifo, said they have some partnership to produce in mass some tricycles and appeal to other institutions to partner them produce the incubators in mass too.
If you go out there, we have been able to make a neonatal incubator. I am using this platform to invite people in the neonatal incubator manufacturing industry to come for us to partner. E-motors, an industry that's into the manufacture of electric motorbikes, that saw our flyer on the social media and decided to reach out for us. And now we have a memorandum of understanding, and he is coming here this week for us to go into the manufacture of e-bikes here in the Bopa Technical Institute.
She also appealed to various stakeholders, especially the education minister, whose constituency the school sits, to come to the aid of the school.
Our Minister for Education, who happens to be our Member of Parliament, to come to the aid of the Bopa Technical Institute. Honorable, we need your support to be able to empower these young men we are very poised to train our future engineers, our future inventors, our future dressmakers, our future entrepreneurs. We need your support.
You're still watching The Pulse. We'll be back with more. Please stay tuned. And just before we leave, Germany has long been the economic engine of Europe, but the motor has been sputtering for years now, and the country has even been in recession. The current government is now trying to jumpstart new initiatives to bring the country forward again. Lars Holter, where DW joins me live from Berlin. Thank you so much for your time here on The Pulse. Lars, I'm just wondering, what's the latest you're hearing from the government?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Indeed, Chancellor Friedrich Merz and the members of his cabinet are currently in a two-day meeting to debate how to jumpstart Germany's economy. And just to give you an idea of how desperately that's needed, Germany has seen 2 years of recession, and this year was initially seen as a year of recovery. But due to recent troubles with tariffs out of Washington and with growing competition out of China, economists here are looking at meager results, so are likely to stay at least stagnant this year, although a further drop for the German economy cannot entirely be ruled out. Anyway, that's why Chancellor Merz has called for an autumn of reforms, a very broad marker he said there. Government reforms have long, of course, been called for by German businesses, who have long said that the country is currently not attractive for businesses to invest in. Too much bureaucracy, high energy costs, a lack of skilled labor even. All in all, just too much to compete globally.
Lars, so what exactly does Cabinet think, really, they can do to help boost the economy?
Well, as the meeting started, there was a lot of talk about bureaucracy and efficiency, or rather the lack of efficiency these days. Between the rules and regulations on the federal level, companies here have to also deal with a lot of EU regulation and also with an immense amount of documentation of processes. All that has been criticized for years. Now, the government wants to make things more efficient, and there are at least two initiatives on the agenda that are giving businesses hope. One is actually to just shut some government agencies or parts of agencies that have just been growing for decades and have led to agencies seemingly becoming more restrictive, if only to justify their very own existence. A smaller administrative body would also, of course, save the government money in the long run and could also allow even for lower taxes at some point. And the other idea might show results even faster. That would be improved digitalization, and implementing AI in all this, of course, is a major point. Now, Germany is sadly far behind when it comes to digitalization, and that also has been slowing things down, including, for example, the planning and building of new plants. For companies even willing to invest, it took a lot of patience, or still takes a lot of patience, as the approval process here often moves at a snail's pace, with oftentimes possibly lucrative investment plans being shelved over seemingly overblown environmental concerns or citizens' initiatives dragging out processes. If the government would be able to cut down on that, companies would certainly be more eager to invest.
And I'm sure you've been engaged with some of the companies so far. What reaction have they been given to some of these new initiatives?
Yeah, corporate Germany so far is enthusiastic about the new government initiative, so much so that over 100 companies have already signed on to a project called Made for Germany. That's, of course, a play on the once valuable Made in Germany trademark. Made for Germany is an initiative where those undersigned companies pledge major investment in their fields over the next 3 years. Among the founding members were Deutsche Bank, the biggest German lender, but also the industrial conglomerate Siemens. There are major industrial companies on board, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, also some media companies, even companies in high-tech and the service industry. All in all, they've so far pledged investment of 735 billion euros, and that is massive. It's actually more than the 500 billion euros the Merz government has already pledged to invest in infrastructure, for example, also in an effort to boost economic growth here in Germany. That money now has largely been made available for upgrades upgrades to roads and bridges and tunnels, the power grid and other parts of basic infrastructure. And it will obviously be helpful for corporate Germany to have this improved infrastructure, but it also creates hundreds of thousands of jobs. So we can clearly see that Berlin has plans, has ideas, but we will have to still see what this autumn of reform actually delivers in the end and which ideas really become reality.
Thank you so much, Lars Holter, for joining us all the way from Berlin. We appreciate your time. And that's how we draw the curtains here on The Pulse. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. My name is Faustina Safa. It's been a pleasure doing this with you. Up next is Let's Talk Showbiz. Please stay tuned in.